Welcome back, friends, to Max Q Barbecue. My name is Craig, and today is episode 19, Killer Hogs Texas Barbecue Rub Brisket Rub Taste Test. So let's get this taste test going. We'll get this brisket opened up and start trimming it up. For today's brisket cook, we're using a Sam's Club Angus beef brisket. It's a 14-pound brisket, and it is a choice brisket. Typically, we sometimes use a prime brisket, but my family does not like all the extra fat. So today, we're going to do this one with a choice brisket and see how this rub and this combination of preparation has this brisket turn out. See if we can make it juicy and with a beautiful bark today. So let's get this party started, and we'll get this brisket cut up, trimmed up, and get her on the pit. Welcome back, friends. We've got our brisket opened up and trimmed up. Some things about the trim that we've done today is that we've taken away a big part of this fat. Of course, this is that decal fat that comes in from this side. It's usually a big hunk of fat right through here, and then the layer that separates the flat and the point. So we've opened that up and shaved a lot of that fat away. We've left a little bit of fat for flavor, but we wanted to take most of that off because most of the members of our family just don't like biting into a big hunk of fat. Now, on our fat side, we've left most of the fat here, although you can see on this edge here that attaches right along the sternum or the breastplate of the cow, we've taken off a lot of that fat down. Mostly it's down to about 1/4 inch or maybe 1/8 of an inch in thickness. So that little bit of fat will stay on there. It'll help protect the meat. It'll moisturize it as it's going through the cooking process. All right, when you come back, we'll start applying the rub. For today's brisket, we're gonna go with our standard or our preferred brisket injection. Today we're gonna be using the Cosmo Q's original brisket injection. We've got 1/3 cup of the Cosmo Q's. We're gonna add to our cup here, our mixing bowl, and we've got 1 can of Campbell's beef broth that we're gonna use for the liquid for our rub. Let's get this mixed up and then we'll get it injected. We've completed injecting our brisket with the Cosmo Q original brisket injection using our Hold Your Horses injector. Of course, you can use any kind of syringe type injector, but this is one that just makes it go a little bit faster because I can do lots of little injections so that I get a complete grid pattern across the entire brisket. So now we're ready to start applying our rub. Now, we're not going to be using a smear of anything today because with this brisket injection, we've got a nice juicy cover or coating on our brisket for our rub to stick to. So let's go ahead and get this rub applied. We're going to start here on the fat side up of the brisket, doing a nice healthy coat, lifting the edges up to make sure we get those edges as we go around. And this comes out of Hernando, Mississippi, Killer Hogs there. And it is a Texas style, so I'm sure this is all pepper and garlic, salt, pepper, and garlic SPG. You might hear a lot in the industry about it, but a nice healthy coat. We've got our brisket well coated with our rub now. We're gonna place this in the refrigerator for a couple of hours and let that rub draw out some of the moisture from the brisket and for some of that salt to go ahead and penetrate. We're gonna do exactly what you would call a dry brine. So we're gonna let this work as a dry brine for a couple hours before we throw this on the pit. See you back in a couple hours. Today, we have some special friends here who like what we're doing and wanted to be part of our brisket cook. So let's get that brisket on the pit and get her smoking. Okay, it's about 6 p.m. We got our fire, got our pit up to temperature. We're gonna go ahead and put our brisket onto the pit. We're gonna put it fat side down, and the point, which is the fatter, juicier part, towards the smoke, or towards the fire. And we're gonna go ahead and put in our temperature probes. So we monitor the temperature. Got one that's over here in our point. We're gonna put another one up here in our in our flat. Pull those out, close it up, and we'll come back in about 3 hours and take a look at it and see how it's doing. All right, Darwin, what you got going on there?
We're taking the probes out of the brisket. Gonna lay them down here. Look at this brisket. Oh man, it's juicy. All right, we're fixing to bring it over here and put it in this pan. And then what we're going to do is shut this lid down, and we're gonna take this in and put it in the oven and get it warmed back up and let it cool down. Can you see the snow? Do you see the snow in the film? Look hard, you'll see snow. Okay, now we have some beef consomme. We're pouring it over this beautiful piece of meat called a brisket. Look at that. And then we're going to take the rest of the, let's see, my assistant, what is this?
Apple cider vinegar and water.
Apple cider vinegar and water. And put it on all of this. And from here, we put it back into the oven at right at 275 and finish it off. We have to cap it with some aluminum foil though to keep the heat in. Keep the juices in.
Keep the juices in. Keep it drying out.
And that's the process of cooking this brisket. Have a good evening. Thank you for watching. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? This is Darwin Sharp back. If you remember yesterday afternoon, I said have a good evening. We were finishing off our brisket. This morning now, we're going to slice our brisket with the master chef, Craig Klemzak. So, at this point, I will turn the video towards him and let him take up from there.
Alrighty folks, we got our brisket out here. We've separated the point from the flat, and I'm looking at the grain of the muscle here, and I'm gonna be cutting perpendicular to the grain. And one of the first things I like to do is I like to cut off these burnt ends because we like those just to keep them as separate chunks of meat. So I'll reach in here and cut about 1 inch off, and then we'll slice this up into little cubes, and this is what our burnt ends are. Good or not, look at the juice. Ooh.
Thank Darwin.
It doesn't get any better than this, folks.